Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays HyperRogue. So I realized since last time that in order to climb the mountain we are going to need to climb the ivory tower because I believe we do not have any ivory figures. So this should not be too dangerous. This is a place where the Orb of Flash might not do us good. Yeah, that's probably a thing that's better not to have. So this is a land that I don't find all that difficult to get the basic 10 treasures out of. Can we jump to this ladder somehow? No, we cannot. Alright, so we'll have to pass on that and climb up this way. Now this is one of the lands that gets more difficult. Well, I mean, all lands get more difficult the longer you go, but you have to go deeper in order to get more treasures here. Which is something common to a lot of the lands that have a unique direction to them. So we are going to continue on up here. It looks like we have a bunch of them available to us over here. So hopefully this does not take us too long. Let's see. Might be best. Let's see if we can drop down to this ladder. There we go. And then this one looks like it might be too far away to get to. So I'm going to kind of scope around here, see if there is a way for us to climb up. Indeed there is. And we've just got a little bit more combat for us. There is another treasure for us. I don't actually know if we need 5 or 10. So let's see. It looks like the Lost Mountain is already unlocked. Yep. 5 ivory figurines. 5 rubies. Well, we don't really care about... I don't actually... Oh! The orb for this land is the one that lets you place blocks, which could be useful, but I'm not that attached to it. I don't think it's that important. So I think it's better to not take a lot of time, not spend a lot of time here, not take a lot of risk here, just because, you know, this is not the main feature. And so we want to... Let's see, probably use this Orb of Safety just to get out of here the fastest way, because that takes us right back to the crossroads. And so now we are looking for a jungle. And hopefully that won't take us too long to find. Of course, it's always dependent on my observational skills. So the challenge that was put before us a little while ago was to see how many necromancer totems we can get with an ivy, a mutant ivy chasing us. So that's going to be very dangerous. And something I want to hold off on. We can either do an extra video, or we can do it kind of after we've done everything that we want to do in this video. Because it's something that can only end in death. These guys, you can't actually hurt them, you can only stun them, so we'll just try and run away. And here is a jungle for us. May not be the first one that we've seen, but the first one that I have noticed and gone, ah yes, we were looking for a jungle. And there is a mountain just on the other side of this double ivy, but double ivies are tough. So if we step into this this spot right here, this one I believe will go clockwise. This one will jump to that one, so that will put us under threat. I don't trust myself. I think they go, yeah, they do go clockwise. I just don't trust myself to remember stuff like that, but indeed they do, and it looks like all of them go clockwise. So we should be able to deal with this. But here we are, this is what we wanted. We're on the Lost Mountain. And so we are looking for our treasures here. We can jump off of small branches, small bushes, but they break when we do that. They do not break if we just move around on them to other stable ground. So I'm looking around. I don't see any treasures yet. I don't know how high we have to go for that. I do see an orb of flash. Might not actually, because we're in a gravity land, it might not be worth going for. So this is another depth-based land, and so these lower ones may not be available to us once we've gathered a few. So I want to be a little bit mindful of that. And try and get this stuff that's on screen before it goes away. And we've got giant apes after us. And we have... looks like we're okay now. I don't see the other treasure that we were going to collect, but I don't think it's that important. So we're just going to keep trying to climb up, keep looking for ways to climb higher up, and hopefully find more treasures along the way. It's once again a game that a world that requires a certain amount of patience. You have to move quite carefully here. It's not one of those areas that you can just run across, and you have to kind of find your way around. Like here we have kind of it's not really obvious how we're going to get from branch to branch. This guy's going to climb up to us, but there we go. So there's what we need there. That's got us up to 3. Oh, we need 5 for what I want here. Because I do want the orb for this land. It is one of the coolest orbs in the game. It looks like we don't have a good way up from here. And so I'm going to start circling around like this and see if I can find a better path up. I think we can climb on ivy. I don't remember. It's a very dangerous thing to do. I wonder, I don't know if these ivies have anything at their heart. But it might be worth checking. No treasure, okay. Well, that's got us around here, and it looks like there's a little bit more opportunity to climb over here. So I'm going to head over this way and try and jump up here, and that's got us up some bushes. And so now we should get a little bit higher. And it looks like it's wanting us to cycle around to the right here. And I'm still not seeing... there's some treasure below us. It's not really clear that we can get back up from it, though. So this bird's going to have to go way, way around to get to us, but we can wait for it. Yeah, my concern is if we dive down to that one, we're going to have a very hard time getting up from there. It might be worthwhile, though, because no matter how far around we go, we're still going to get to that treasure up there. Just because of the way that horocycles work. And so we can loop around here, try and find our way to something that we can climb. See, we'll wait for these guys to get to us. Oh dear. Let's get these guys lined up. There we go. So we went down a little bit. That means that We're going to have to work a little bit harder to get up where we want to go, and just keep going around. But remember that no matter how far around we go, we will not be very far from that amethyst. So let's start climbing up. It looks like we've got some good opportunities to do so. And there's one over to our right. I don't know if we can get to it. But it looks like we have some opportunities to climb up here. And then, you know, we can see if we can drop down onto it. Actually, that's a bad idea. Let's just keep going up. Because we know that there will be more treasures upward. We don't know if there will be more below us. And so we're just going to have to keep on keeping on. There is a bunch of treasure, well, 2 treasures, which is enough for me. We do have some eagles after us. But we can stand here. There we go. So I think they can only fly up 1 space per turn, but they can fly horizontally or downward more than that. So we can't quite get onto that platform from here. I think if we jump up from that, there we go. So that's got us up here. And there's lots for us to climb on now. So we can just work our way around. You know, maybe not focus on going like way deeper, because we have been seeing a lot of stuff on the level with us. I don't know, you know, it's based on how deep we are. It works like, my understanding is that it works pretty much the same way that the temple works, where it measures how deep we are, and if we're at a greater depth than the number of treasures we have collected, then it will let us, it'll spawn treasures. And if we are deep, or if we are not as deep, then it will not spawn new treasures, and it may even despawn treasures. It's not exactly like the temple, because in the temple you simply can't collect those treasures. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff after us here. And I'm a little bit nervous, but I think we can drop down to the right if things get really bad, and it looks like we don't need to do that. So I'm just looking around here, trying to figure out where to go next. And remember that no matter how far around we go, that stops mattering. Even just a few steps inward. You know, by the time we've gone maybe a dozen steps inward, we're basically in the same space that we would have been if we had taken any other route. So there's a treasure up there that I do not see us being able to get to easily here. And it looks like we can't quite jump to that. There we go. That's how you do that. So we can climb up here, climb up that thing. Oops. That was nearly a disaster. Just gotta get these guys sorted out. There we go. Now we can start climbing again. And we are above that treasure now, and it is the last treasure we need. Oh, we must be way deeper than we need to be. But we can just start dropping to the bottom of the mountain. There is, as far as I know, no fall damage in this game. So we can just slide down the mountain. I imagine that we must be like glissading or something, which is quite a fun thing to do. Just kind of sliding down a mountain. Controlled slide, but quite a fun slide. Let's see. There we go. Grab that orb of flash. Orbs of flash are better for us now than they were on the ascent, because if they destroy stuff, we can still go in the direction that we want to go in. Now, let's check the overview. And let's take a look at the Orb of Nature. Let's see. Collect 10 amethyst. It doesn't show the spawn rate, which I guess it wouldn't since we're in a non-hub land. I guess the spawn rate is already 100%. Let's see, we have an icy land on the other side of an alchemy lab. Neither of those very appealing. We want to get out to a crossroads at this point. And it looks like the spawn rate might be pretty low. There's a prairie. We don't care about that. A windy plain. We don't care about that. So we're seeing lots and lots of mountains. And not that much else that interests us. Another alchemy lab. The mountain spawn rate is seeming like really high to me. It's kind of reminding me of like I'm trying to think like horocyclic lands. You know, some of them are very densely spread, and some of them are a lot more rare. But I think this is where we're going to wrap it up. We're going to have to, you know, go on our adventures in the next episode. Once we have that, once we get to the crossroads, you know, we'll have much more opportunity to get the orbs of nature. We can grab that, and that will let us save. That will let us put this on hold. So in the next episode, we're going to continue to look for a crossroads. Now, I realized that in a previous episode, I had said that I wanted to fight the clearing until we found foxes. And we have not done that yet. They're a basic enemy, but they're a basic enemy that you don't see very often. And so I wanted to check that out. So that's on the horizon. I still want to play around with the Orb of Nature before we do anything that could make us lose the run. And then after that probably is when we'll be doing the challenge, the Graveyard Challenge. And, you know, I will open it up to suggestions. If there's a suggestion that I particularly like, we'll do it. But I'm pretty full of ideas most of the time. You know, the beginning of episodes is always when I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know. And there are times when I'm full of ideas and times when I'm not. So whenever I'm not full of ideas, I think that will be a good time to dive in and try one of those challenges. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.